I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, October the 9th, brought to you in part by Zactran. You know there's a lot of stress out there this time of year with the big temperature swings, separation anxiety as these calves are going through weaning process here. But stress opens a gate for bovine respiratory disease. Zactran slams it shut. Remember to observe your 35-day withdrawal period after treatment. For more information, go to Zactran.com or visit with your BI representative. Told you guys on the last visit we're going to have a big announcement. I'm going to give it to you right here at the beginning of the report. Tell you what, as you guys know, I'm proud and humbled by the following that we have here on the feeder flash every day. I talk to people in my travels all over the country that make this part of their daily ritual, which is a big deal to me. Was out in Idaho earlier this week. I probably talked to 30 or 40 people that make this part of their morning watching this report. Folks that said they've learned a lot by watching it. They keep up with the market and they're busy. Some of them have town jobs. Some of them are too busy with their farm or ranch that they can't hardly keep up with all the markets, but 10 or 15 minutes you can pick up a lot of markets here. But when I decided to make this announcement, I thought a lot about it. Like I said, I didn't just spring right into it. We prayed about it. We thought a lot about it. It was a fairly easy decision to make, but still we didn't take it lightly. I try to be very sincere with you folks about all the messages that I give you. We only speak the truth here on the feeder flash. You know, the truth might be the hardest way to say it, and some people can't handle the truth, but after much deliberation, the feeder flash with Corbett Wall daily cattle market report has decided to endorse President Donald J. Trump for re-election. I know this surprises a lot of you people. I know that you weren't expecting something like this, a big announcement right here, but we're going to do it nonetheless. But we've got to have him in there, guys. A vote for Joe Biden is actually a vote for Kamala Harris as president. He won't last 6 months in there. They'll wheel him off. She'll come in with her left-wing liberal ideas. You know, she was co-sponsor of the Green New Deal, which part of it was to get rid of cattle. For the most part, that's what her idea is. She wants to limit the daily intake, or not even daily. She wants to limit the intake of red meat, make it a luxury and not a staple on your table anymore, folks. And for our regular citizens that don't have the ability to process one and put it in their freezer, it's going to completely change the way of life, and it's pretty much going to be the end of the cowboy, guys. So we're going to heavily get behind Trump if we haven't already. We've got to push here the last 3 weeks, and we are going to push it. Now I want you folks to push it. If you think there's somebody out there that's not going to vote, or you think they're going to vote the wrong way, you got to put pressure on them. I'm not just going to say this and then stop doing things. I'm going to get pretty active on this deal. But I mentioned here a while back that we're going to have a Ranchers for Trump rally out in Nevada. Okay, that deal's coming up, and it has grown and it has grown and it has gotten huge. But Jack Payne, my friend, the owner and operator of Nevada Livestock Marketing in Fallon, Nevada, has put this event together. It has since become an official campaign event for Trump. I tell you what, they've got a big deal. It was just going to be an evening deal, and now it's going to be a big deal. It's on October the 14th, this coming Wednesday, October the 14th in Fallon, Nevada, at Nevada Livestock Marketing. They're going to have a meal there. You can have either Nevada prime rib or Nevada lamb, but it's going to start at noon. The lunch is going to go from noon until 2. They've got several guest speakers that are going to be on hand. Be a big deal. And then from 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, this coming Wednesday in Fallon, Nevada at the Sale Barn, Nevada Livestock Marketing, they've got several distinguished guests that are going to be speaking, including Senator Devin Nunes is going to be there. Adam Laxalt, who is the campaign manager for the Nevada push right there. And last but definitely not least, Donald Trump Jr. is going to be on hand, guys. This is at a sale barn with a bunch of cattle people going to be there, a bunch of cowboys around there. And Donald Trump Jr. is going to be there, folks. I'm not sure if he's bringing Kimberly. It'd be worth the trip just by chance that he might. But Donald J. Trump is going to be there. And I can't believe that Don Jr. is going to be there. I said Donald J. Trump, but Don Jr. is going to be there. I'm sure that they've still got President Trump under quarantine right there. But anyway, this is going to be a huge event. But then starting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they're going to have the Ranchers for Trump cattle auction. I'm going to be the auctioneer. I can't believe they asked me to do it, but I'm going to be the auctioneer. And it's not just a couple of doggy calves, guys. They've got a bunch of cattle donated. All the money from the sale of those cattle is going to go to the local Trump campaign there. And he's behind in Nevada. And it's a big deal to get him pushed through there. And we're trying to get that. Of course, I don't know if you can believe any of these polls. I remember Hillary was big ahead in the polls too 4 years ago, and Trump beat her. And I think there's a lot bigger push for Trump this time. He was kind of a wild card last time. Now we know that he can handle this deal, and you're seeing so many people come up for it. But Jack Payne has got a lot of cattle donated for this auction. And it's not just a little deal. I mean, he's got trucks dispatched to go to central points to load these cattle and bring them in there. Bardell McKay Trucking of McGill, Nevada is going to be bringing those cattle in there free of charge as part of the donation, guys. And we've got a lot of cattle going to be sold there, good cattle. And you think, well, what am I going to do with a few head of cattle that I bought too high to support the Trump campaign? No problem. The very next day, October the 15th, Jack Payne's got a big feeder special there. Going to have 3,500 head on offer right there at the same facility. You can give way too much for 1 or 2 calves to help this big push, this big drive, and help this event be successful. And then you can cheapen them back up with some cattle and put them on some loads the next day. So I want you guys to be sure and put that down, October the 14th, this Wednesday. If you can't be there, it's going to be on dvauction.com. Imagine that. You can get on there and enjoy and watch that, but it's going to be a big deal. Jack has taken out some full-page ads in several publications as soon as this deal is over, and he's going to list all the donors, everybody that bought cattle, everybody that contributed to this event. But we're very excited about it, and it's going to be a huge deal, probably the biggest event I've ever been involved with. But I just hope that it goes as well as we're expecting it to go, and it might go even better. But just can't believe what a big deal this is, and very excited and proud to be part of it, and can't wait till next Wednesday. And you guys are going to hear a lot more about it between now and then, of course. But let's talk about the board on Thursday. October live cattle futures down 47 cents, 109.70. December was down 47 at 112.62. Going out from there, your live cattle futures were down 37 to down $1, and just off a little bit. I tell you what, they were better early in the day and then just closed lower. But October feeder cattle down 45 cents at 138.05. November down $1.42 at 136.45. I think part of that on your on going towards your out fronts on your feeder cattle futures is as we did get our actual slaughter information, and you guys knew that I was looking forward to your average dressed steer weights dropping, and they didn't. They went up, and they went up a bunch. They went up 5 pounds from the last report, so that was a big loser right there. But going your out fronts on your feeder cattle contracts down $1.35 to down $1.75, so pretty tough on that. And a lot of folks are still kind of keeping an eye on your grain prices here, because we've got a big drought in Brazil. That's pushing your beans up. It's pulling your corn up. People are getting very excited about this crop production report that's coming out here on Friday. So, you know, likely your grains and probably your feeder cattle could go for a big jilt one way or the other on Monday. So you got to pay attention to that crop report that's coming out here on Friday and see what is going to happen. But it's going to be a market mover, probably because they've been doing so much placement of that report into the market up to it. And then if that doesn't come to fruit, we could see feeder cattle jump pretty big. I think they've already took the brunt of what losses there could be. So I would say we got a chance for feeder cattle futures to be up pretty big on Monday. But your fat cattle trade on Thursday, getting some pushback from your packers. They weren't able to take your box beef cutout values any higher, even though your choice is near a record high under normal circumstances for this time of year. You know, I think one outlier will be 2014 there, but I tell you what, your packers are kind of pushing back on the higher prices. They do have the higher prices bid, but only $1 higher, and we were thinking we could probably gain $2, but they haven't bought that many cattle yet. So going to be a big trade on Friday also. I'm not sure if they're going to wait till after some of these reports come out, or if we're going to come out Monday morning or Friday morning and buy several cattle there, but the bids are still out there. But in Iowa, only 1,000 head confirmed on Thursday, 5,900 head confirmed for the week, which is really light. From 106 to 108, mostly 108. Nebraska, 2,700 head confirmed on Thursday, only 6,000 for the week so far. So they've got a lot of buying to do on Friday and a lot of selling to do, but 108 live and 169 dressed, and that is the market right now. So it's fairly well established. Not to say they couldn't add to it or take away if the board would happen to crash on Friday, but 108 and 169 is the market, and that's $1 higher on both sides there. But Kansas did sell several cattle, 6,400 head, but only 6,500 head for the week now, 107 to mostly 108. Texas did not sell any cattle. They've only sold 400 head, just odd deals, for the whole week. And they did have 108 bids, but the guys had their heels dug in. And you got to give it to the cash sellers in Texas. I tell you what, they're a rare breed, absolutely a rare breed. But 108 bids in Texas and no confirmed sales. There may have been some late in the day that we didn't hear about, but we knew the bids were out there pretty much all day, and we never really heard of any sales that happened. Box beef cutout values, choice cuts $216 even, down 88 cents on your Thursday's afternoon trade. Selects have been dropping a lot more. There's a lot of demand for your middle meats, and that's when your grading comes into play for the most part. And I mentioned on our last visit that grading is kind of falling off a little bit. It's still higher than what it typically is, but it's starting to come down a little bit where normally it would come up. And selects have really backed off here, and not so much are they backing off, but they're just getting further from choice. And choice is kind of holding steady, and then select is dropping 203.10 on Thursday afternoon. That's down $2.48. Choice select spread now nearly $13. Your slaughter so far for the week, it's kind of disappointing, but if you take into the fact that we have a plant that's been shuttered out east, JBS Solderton has actually been closed. They were having cooler troubles and things like that, and they actually had to close it on Thursday there. So not sure how long that's going to be down. Some people say maybe a week, but they don't slaughter that many steers and heifers, beef steers and heifers. They slaughter cows, bulls, Holsteins, and stuff like that. And just a couple, 300 maybe a day of your regular cattle, regular steers and heifers. So it shouldn't hurt that much. And it hasn't pulled down on our slaughter that much, but it's going to be off a little bit. But 472,000 through Thursday. That's 6,000 less than last week, but still 1,000 more than the same week a year ago. I mentioned earlier, actual slaughter information come back 2 weeks late now. It's always 2 weeks behind, but your average dressed steer carcass weight, 924 pounds. That was up 5 pounds from the previous report and tied for a record for this time of year all time. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Thursday at 140.52, down 67 cents. Look at your big sales. How about winter livestock? Pratt, Kansas, 2,400 head there. And I thought this was a misprint when I saw it, but feeder steers, $7 higher. And then I got to look at some of the quotes and saw, yeah, how it could be that. But steer calves, kind of a higher undertone. Feeder heifers, over 800 pounds or $2 to $3 higher. Other heifers were unevenly steady, but an awful good market there. Steve Stratford and the boys there at Pratt Livestock. But look at this quote I'm going to give you since I'm already talking about Pratt. Probably about the highest we've seen all week. But Pratt, Kansas, 52 steers, weighed 857 pounds at 154.50. And they had them marked as fancy, not program cattle, but just really, really outstanding quality. I mean, how good could they be? But look at some other sales around the circuit. Ogallala Livestock Auction, Ogallala, Nebraska, 2,100 head there. Mostly steady to $2 higher. So good market, and you think, well, your index was off a little bit on 800-pound steers, and it's like I said, some of those bigger calves are getting up into that index, weighing up into the sevens, and some of them not even weaned, and we don't pull those out, so it's going to pull down on your index a little bit. But how about some of your other quotes all around? Farmers and Ranchers Livestock, Salina, Kansas, had an impressive sale there. 54 head, 805-pound steers bring 147.75. It's not as crazy as the first one I gave you, but it's still $7 over what your index is, and pretty impressive quotes there. How about Paris Stockyards, Paris, Kentucky? Mike Thornton, who's a Feeder Flash gang member with Rumor Has It Farms there, he brought in over 500 head of green grass yearlings into Paris Stockyards, including these 313 steers that weighed 831 at $142. Wow. How about Creston Livestock Market? Now that was a quote from Wednesday. Kurt and Heather Spore Leader sent me some information out of there, and I just had so many quotes from the Wednesday sales I weren't able to get them on there, but there's no law against me giving a Wednesday quote here for a Friday morning sale. But the Weiss steers there in Creston, Iowa, included 2 loads, 800 to 810 pound steers. That was on Wednesday, $152.75 to $154. Goodness. Okay, but the best quotes that I saw really on Thursday that I want to give you is on calves, because that's where all the action is now. The yearlings are drying up, guys. But Valentine Livestock, Valentine, Nebraska, Aaron and Chris Galloway had 101 heifer calves, weighed 500 pounds at $173. Randy Stoner, 103 head of steer calves, weighed 607 at $170. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.